and welcome to the Chalkboard, a podcast hosted by the Gogebic-Ontonagon Intermediate School District. This monthly podcast shares how the GOISD works to inspire students every day and support the work of our local school districts. I'm Alan Tolpo, your host and superintendent of the Gogebic-Ontonagon ISD. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this episode will focus on how a greater awareness of the importance of mental health is being promoted in our schools. I'm joined today by Jamie Fiorucci and Keela Phillips, who are school social workers for the GOISD. Also joining us is Megan Hagan, Director of General Education. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So we started our podcast series this year by talking about the role of a school social worker. And fittingly, we're recording our last episode of the season by talking about the importance of recognizing mental health and self-care among ourselves and students.
Yes.
Yeah, so glad to have you back. And I'm eager to learn more about Mental Health Awareness Month and why mental health awareness is such an important topic. So could you please start us off by talking about that important topic and how we can be more aware of our mental well-being?
Yes, it's an important topic to bring awareness to let everyone know how they can get help or they can get other people help who may be struggling with mental health, and also reducing that stigma of getting the help that people need to live a better lifestyle.
Yeah. And everyone has mental health. Mental health connects us to our body, to our mind. And when we put our time and energy and emphasis into our own mental health and even mental health of others, there's a way of healing that can occur, or even just general awareness of yourself and your own body. So in talking about mental health, it is, again, a topic that anyone can talk about. And certainly it is perhaps more emphasized with social workers or mental health providers, but ultimately on a day-to-day basis, we all have ourselves that we are here to take care of.
Okay. How is the GOISD supporting our school community with mental health and mental health awareness?
Well, over the last few years, the state has made a significant investment in funding mental health services and really trying to open up access and get more of those services into our schools for students, especially in rural areas. So we have been taking part in a lot of the grant funding that's been rolled out at the state level and working to expand the number of providers that we have available for students and available in districts. Our providers do everything from supporting teachers in classrooms, giving kids and teachers healthy coping strategies or teaching social skills, maybe that some kids might be lacking, all the way to doing more intensive therapy with a child who might need that one-on-one or more targeted support. We currently have a social work presence in all of the school districts within the GOISD. So all kids across the GOISD have access. We also are working with our community organizations and furthering and strengthening those partnerships to try to create more of a continuum of mental health supports. So a lot of the work that we're doing is not going to be standalone. We really want to broaden that support to outside of the school day as well. So.
And for this month of May, we have a challenge that is going on in all of the schools where we created a bingo card that has activities that a person can do, and that is for pre-K all the way to high school, and it revolves around self-care. And once they complete their bingo card, they can submit that and we'll take a look at those, and then there'll be prizes awarded among the students and the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've really seen an increase in our presence in the schools. I know the team is very dedicated to the work that you're leading in all of the districts. What are the benefits of learning more about our mental health?
The prevention is key. And one of the things that our social workers have been able to do is get into the early elementary classrooms, especially GSRP or Head Start, that early learning age, to start talking about our emotions, our feelings, what it looks like, how it feels, and what can we do about it if we feel a certain way. And the early prevention has been really instrumental with the kids, because now you can see students having that language when they're moving from grade to grade, and when they see a social worker in the hallway, they'll say, "Oh, Miss Jamie, I'm in the green zone today," which is when we talk about zones of regulation and how certain feelings are. The feelings are matched to different colors. So it's taught in a way that students can understand and that they can take with them.
And one thing I would like to add is, in education, we are in the business of educating children. However, when you talk about the whole person and the whole child, you really have to think about the mental state and ability to learn. And children's, like Jamie had said, children need to be in a state that they are open and ready to learn. So addressing some of the other things that might be getting in the way of them being in a state to be accelerating with learning, we really have to get those things addressed first, or try to come alongside the academic piece and look at the child as a whole rather than solely focusing on just the academics.
Absolutely. And for many years, we've focused on a child's physical well-being. We promoted physical activity and physical wellness. And now we're incorporating the mental wellness, the social emotional wellness of the child to really help that child be very successful as a young individual.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What benefits have you seen in your profession when working with our school communities in teaching them about mental health?
I've seen a lot of benefits, to include a lot of the students, like Jamie said, have the language. So that brings them to more self-awareness of themselves and how they're doing. And it's also giving them that language to advocate for themselves. And then, helping their teachers or, any staff in the school community understand them and what they are needing. I've also seen other benefits, such as just improved social awareness and social boundaries with our students, and even with our staff, just helping our staff understand the students and families and just the backgrounds that they may be experiencing.
Mm-hmm. I would like to add too that the stigma of mental health really has gone down, because again, going back to that, we are all connected by our own mental health and our physical health as well. It comes in one, it's not separate. And having students being able to have, access anytime they need to reach out, we're there to help support them. So knowing that there are people available that they can access and talk to and have a space to be able to process whatever they're going through. I think just having that available has been a really great opening, and it teaches them too that even as an adult, that there are people available that they can seek out, others to help them work through things.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just such an important piece of having these services available in our schools right now, to really lessen that stigma, to make being informed about your own mental health, more of an acceptable personal practice, and I'm sure that you've seen that over the last couple of years in the schools that you've been working with, and I'm glad that that we're able to have a presence to provide that service in our local districts.
One more thing that comes to mind is sometimes there are significant events that take place. It might be a very small problem or a big problem that somebody might define as a crisis. If you're a kindergartner, your crisis might look very different than somebody in the high school. But we have trained professionals in place that know the language and the proper training to help kids and coach them through some maybe difficult situations and help them navigate some of their feelings. So that's another benefit, I think, that I don't want to fail to mention, that these people are trained and they have a set of skills that maybe that the teacher, who did a lot of intensive schooling, they have a lot of academic skills where maybe they don't have this level of training that somebody with mental health support would. So
yeah, we make a good team.
Yes,
where the teachers can reach out and and we can work together, and that's how I think of it in being in the school, is that we're all a team and we're all there to support the students, and let's figure it out and do it together.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. I think back to when I was a classroom teacher, and how poorly equipped I was as a teacher to deal with a student's social emotional well-being. I don't know if poorly equipped is the right word, but that wasn't my specialty. And I think had I had somebody to be able to reach out to and say, hey, I know this student is struggling right now. Can you see what's happening, or could you talk to them? I can see where as a teacher that has to be just wonderful to have somebody to partner with in making sure that student is all right. So there are strategies that we can practice in order to help with our mental health and self-care. What are some of your preferred strategies?
Well, I've got a list, but I will narrow it down to two. One is it's regarding sleep hygiene, and it's about getting enough sleep, the quality of sleep, the quantity of sleep, and finding that space that is comfortable, that you feel relaxed in, that you can calm your body. And, it can look different in a lot of different homes and places, but having that place and just getting into a rhythm with your body of having that quality sleep. And the other thing that is really important to me, but I think it's really important to the students as well, is having the ability to go outside, and whether it's playing on the grass, picking dandelions, climbing playground equipment, climbing a tree, touching a tree, doing anything that's outside, throwing rocks into the lake. It gives them that really good tactile experience. It's getting their senses very aware to all the different things that are outside. So that in itself can help the overall body. But then also they can build a connection to being outside.
So can I follow up on the concept of sleep hygiene a little bit?
Sure.
So when you're preparing yourself to have a hygienic sleep, I don't know what I would call that, but what are some things that people can do to just prepare themselves before going to sleep or trying to fall asleep?
Yeah. Well, this is where routine and having a process in the evening, becomes really handy. Some people have a process where they like to brush their teeth, wash their face, get on their pajamas, things like that. And I would recommend having, some kind of process that you have before you're winding down. We have enough studies out there that talk about the light from our phones and computers, and it's not recommended because of the blue light, and also that your brain can't really shut off from what it has just listened to or what it's watched when you're trying to get into a relaxed state. So finding those things that can really wind the body down, and limiting caffeine, things like that, that you find, everybody's routine is going to look a little bit different, but picking those things where you find your body entering into a relaxed state before you actually fall asleep.
I know I'm guilty of looking at the clock. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to work a little bit more on this, or I'm going to quickly watch an episode of whatever I'm watching on Netflix or Prime, and then I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I'll toss and turn and struggle to get to sleep. So those are really good tips. And having that routine, I can see would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Keela, what about you?
I would add a couple different strategies that people can try is finding a hobby that they enjoy, that you find yourself living in the moment, and there's not a care in the world, there's no other stress that you're thinking about. Finding a hobby for yourself that you look forward to doing, and that you can just forget about everything else and really live in that moment, being mindful of just being in the present. And then also just relationships. So it's really important to connect with those relationships and dig deep into those relationships that you that benefit you, and also identifying some relationships that may not be beneficial to you. And so that's part of just recognizing those healthy boundaries with your relationships, having the ability to say no, to things that might
absorb
affect
your
you.
time,
yes.
or
might just negatively impact you.
You said saying no, and that is a really hard word for a lot of people to say, and a really hard practice for people to learn.
Yeah. So once you do say it, once you start, getting in that routine, you will notice that it's just a benefit for you. It takes a lot more stress off of you.
I think one thing that I would add is really surrounding yourself with people who bring positive into your light or into your life, a positive light or a positive vibe. Sometimes when you are around people who are happy and positive, it's very contagious. And I think that really helps to boost your mental health. If you surround yourself with negativity or, people who often are kind of bringing others down, that seems to be contagious as well. So I think if I had one bit of advice, it would be to really surround yourself with people that lift you up, make you feel good about yourself, and bring light or positivity into your life. And that's often kids for a lot of people, and laughter, or maybe grandparents or people who smile and laugh a lot. I find those to be the ones that really bring a lot of positive light into people's lives.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that the average toddler laughs about 300 times a day. I don't know if that's true or not.
Accurate.
And the average adult laughs less than 100 times a day.
Yeah.
So
we do need to laugh more.
We do.
Yeah.
I agree. I always feel better when I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Or being laughed at. I don't know. This was a really nice conversation, and I appreciate you taking time out of what is a really busy time of the year in our schools, and there's a lot going on. And just want to say that I appreciate the work that you're both doing, you and your colleagues, in our schools, and I hope that you are able to take the upcoming summer to relax and recharge and take care of yourselves so that you're ready to roll again when we're back in session in the fall. So thanks again for being here.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for today's episode. Our next episode will be posted in August. Until then, have a safe and enjoyable summer. If you want to learn more about the topics covered in this episode, please contact Megan Hagen, Director of General Education at Hagen, Hagen, at goisd.org. Thanks again for listening, and have a wonderful day.